Imagine pouring your heart and, your savings into that dream piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
You picture quiet mornings, loads of space, maybe a place for the kids to just run wild. You've planned it all out, right?
The perfect spot for everything.
Exactly. The cabin, the trails. But then one day, boom, you get a call. Someone got hurt on your property.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and they were trespassing, ignored your signs, everything. Yet now you could be facing a lawsuit for their medical bills.
Wow. That's a real gut punch, isn't it?
It really is. The dream suddenly feels like it could turn into a financial nightmare.
Right.
And in that scenario, it sounds hypothetical, but it's actually a very real risk for landowners.
It happens more than you'd think.
Which is why today we're doing a deep dive into these, often overlooked responsibilities that come with owning land.
The hidden complexities.
Totally, especially around who gets access and, crucially, the liability you might face, even for trespassers. We've gathered a whole bunch of articles, research papers, really zeroing in on this landowner liability angle and, the best ways to deter people.
Good stuff. So what's the plan?
Our mission today, basically, pull out the most important insights, clear up some common misunderstandings that could really cost you.
Yeah, those misconceptions can be dangerous.
And arm you, the listener, with practical knowledge. Ways to safeguard your property and hopefully avoid those awful legal headaches. Okay, let's dig in.
Let's do it.
So the legal side of land ownership, it has some twists, and our sources, they really spotlight one thing that catches a lot of people off guard.
Which is?
If someone gets hurt on your land, it doesn't matter if they had permission or were totally trespassing, they could still have the right to sue you.
For their medical bills, yeah.
Exactly. And it's not just like a simple injury claim. It can blow up into what's called a premises liability claim.
That's right. And a premises liability claim, well, it's basically a legal action against you, the owner, if someone gets hurt because they claim the property was unsafe or you were negligent somehow.
Right.
And what's really crucial here, and the sources hammer this home, is the potential cost. We're not talking small amounts.
No kidding.
Even seemingly minor injuries can rack up huge medical bills. Think tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Which really underlines the landowner's core job.
Mm.
You have to set clear boundaries. It's basically on you to make it absolutely obvious who's allowed and, maybe more importantly, who isn't.
So it's not just good manners, it's legal protection.
It's a critical layer of legal defense, absolutely. Good practice, yes, but legally vital.
And it gets even more complicated when you think about all the different types of people who might wander onto your land.
Yeah, it's not always straightforward.
Definitely not.
Okay.
When we talk trespassers, it's not just one kind of person. Our sources list a few common categories, and it's pretty broad.
Like who?
Okay, you've got the ones you might expect. Hunters, maybe poachers, unfortunately.
Right, the usual suspects in rural areas.
But then you also have travelers, maybe with caravans or vans, especially on bigger, more remote pieces of land.
Okay.
We've seen cases with protesters setting up camp and even groups organizing illegal raves or maybe drug users or sometimes homeless people occupying empty buildings.
So a whole range of situations.
Yeah, it's way beyond just, a curious kid hopping a fence for a shortcut.
Indeed. And while the specific legal duty of care you owe might vary slightly in some places, depending on whether someone's an invited guest or, say, a known trespasser versus an unknown one.
Ah, okay, so there are nuances.
There are. But the main message from all our sources is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
The risk of serious liability is there for pretty much all kinds of uninvited people.
So you can't just say, well, they shouldn't have been here.
Not really, no. It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card just because they were trespassing. And that's precisely why setting up universal deterrence and really clear boundary markings is so important.
Rather than trying to guess who might show up.
Exactly. Protect yourself against the whole spectrum of possibilities.
Okay, it's a bit sobering, isn't it?
It is. Forewarned is forearmed, though.
Right. So, given that reality, let's pivot. Let's talk about proactive steps. What can you actually do to protect yourself and your property?
Good. Where do we start?
Starting with the absolute basics. Clearly marking your property lines. It sounds simple, but it's the foundation.
The bedrock, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't skip that.
And when we think about physical barriers, the first thing that usually comes up is fencing.
Makes sense. A physical line.
Our sources talk about different kinds of, sturdy cattle panels, the classic barbed wire, high tensile wire, which is pretty versatile.
Uh-huh.
Traditional wood fences, chain link for more security, even electric fencing, maybe for livestock.
Lots of options depending on the need.
Yeah, your choice obviously depends on the land itself, your budget, what animals you're trying to keep in or out. But here's a really key legal point the sources bring up. A fence is a strong physical deterrent, sure, but legally. Fencing alone can sometimes be a bit vague.
That's a really important distinction, yeah. A fence on its own.
Mm.
Well, it suggests a boundary, obviously. But
Yeah.
what's its intent? Is it just keeping cows in, or is it saying keep out?
The intent isn't automatically clear.
Exactly. And this connects to a bigger strategy the sources push.
Yeah.
You really need to combine fencing with proper, clear signage. That gives you undeniable clarity.
The belt and suspenders approach?
Pretty much. The fence is the physical stop, but the signs. That's your explicit legal statement. It shows your intent, gives clear notice. And that can be crucial if you ever end up in a premises liability case.
Okay, so what makes for good signage?
Well, durability and visibility are key for anything outdoors. You want stuff that won't fade in a month, right?
Right. Weatherproof?
And easily seen. Our research mentioned options like signs from the American Hunting and Landowners Association, AHLA, I think, as a good example. Bright, high-vis, clear, no trespassing message. And critically, you need to space them out properly along your boundaries. Check your state rules on spacing, too. Leave no doubt.
Gotcha. Spacing matters. No ambiguity.
None.
Okay, that makes total sense. Intent, clarity. Beyond just the standard signs, though, our sources brought up another interesting visual tactic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking more than just like brightly colored flagging tape, although that has its place. But what about using color as a legal marker? Specifically, purple paint.
Ah, the purple paint rule, yes.
Right. Often used in rural areas, maybe painted on trees or posts every 100 yards or so. It's apparently more than just decoration.
It absolutely is. And, this raises an important question. How many people actually know what purple paint means legally?
Good point. I wasn't entirely sure myself before digging into this.
Well, the sources explain that in many states, that purple paint specifically means no hunting, no fishing, no trapping is allowed without the landowner's explicit written permission.
Okay, written permission, that's specific.
Very. But it can go further. If you pair that purple paint with no trespassing signs.
Layering the signals again.
Exactly. Then it extends that prohibition to cover other stuff too, like hiking, bird watching, maybe camping.
Okay, so it broadens the message.
It does. And here's the really powerful bit.
Yeah.
In some states, that purple paint by itself can be enough evidence to press trespassing charges against someone.
Seriously, just the paint.
Just the paint in certain jurisdictions. So yeah, it's a potent tool, both visually and legally, even if, like you said, public awareness might vary. It's on you, the landowner, to know your local rules.
Wow. That's a really powerful and potentially low-cost tool for landowners. Good to know.
Definitely.
So beyond these physical lines and visual cues, what about tech? Let's get into another layer of modern protection. Technology.
Trail cameras.
You got it. Our sources really highlight how useful trail cameras are now. They're not just for seeing deer anymore.
Right, the tech has come a long way.
Totally. Modern ones can upload photos and videos straight to your phone, give you alerts. Some even have live video feeds.
So you basically got eyes on the property almost 24/7.
Pretty much. And the advice from the sources on where to put them is smart. Camouflage them well, obviously, so they don't get stolen or messed with.
Yeah, good luck keeping them otherwise.
Place them at key entrances or maybe angle them to look down the property lines. That way you catch movement clearly.
And avoid arguments about where exactly they were.
Precisely. Undeniable evidence. Some even suggest pointing them slightly down to maybe catch faces better. But you always need to be careful about local privacy laws regarding surveillance, of course.
Good point. Always check the local regulations.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit. There's a really ingenious strategy mentioned in our sources, one that sort of flips a potential problem into an advantage.
Oh, what's that?
Leasing your land. Specifically, leasing it to hunters or other outdoorsmen you trust.
Ah, okay. Bringing allies onto the property.
Exactly. It's not just passive protection anymore, it's active.
How so?
Well, the main benefit is huge. These folks act like extra sets of eyes for you. A second, third, maybe fourth pair.
They're out there regularly.
They are. They're on the property, they're observant, and hopefully they're invested in the place staying in good shape.
Right, because their own enjoyment depends on it.
Exactly. A good, trusted hunter knows the land well. They'll often spot unusual activity or signs of trespassers really quickly.
And they might be willing to, run people off.
Often, yeah. Or at least report it to you immediately. Because their access depends on the land being secure and well managed. They usually have a vested interest in helping deter trespassers. They sort of become your unofficial security patrol.
That makes a lot of sense.
So what does this mean for your bottom line? This is where it gets really interesting financially.
Okay, let's hear it.
Our sources point out a pretty significant financial upside here. It can turn this potential headache into a real asset.
How much are we talking?
A well-managed hunting lease can apparently be in thousands of dollars every year. Wow, thousands.
Yeah. An income stream that could actually offset or maybe even totally cover your property taxes.
That's huge.
It's a fantastic way to turn a liability, the cost of owning land, into revenue, while also boosting your property security at the same time.
Okay, that is smart.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there might be some catches.
There are important considerations, yeah.
Right. I mean, this ties into the bigger picture. Leasing for hunting, it sounds like a great synergistic move, but you absolutely need to do it right. The sources really stress needing a proper, legally solid hunting lease agreement.
Yeah, outlining all the terms, responsibilities, access rules.
Everything. And just as important, insurance. You need adequate liability coverage because, well, liability is still a potential issue, even with lessees.
Good point. The liability doesn't just vanish.
Not at all. Services like base camp leasing were mentioned as examples. Resources that can help landowners navigate the whole process, drafting good agreements, finding responsible hunters.
Okay, so help is available, definitely. And look, hunters obviously can't be there 24/7. But their regular presence, their vigilance, it's highly effective at deterring most trespassers. It adds that invaluable layer of active security.
While bringing in income.
It's a classic win-win, but only if you set it up thoughtfully and correctly.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's quickly recap what we've covered in this deep dive.
Right.
The big surprise, maybe, is just how much legal risk landowners face from anyone hurt on their property, even trespassers.
Right. The liability is real.
But you're not powerless. We talked about a multi-layered approach to protection, combining clear physical stuff like fencing.
With those undeniable visual markers, good signs, maybe that purple paint.
Plus active monitoring with tech like trail cameras.
And finally, that really smart strategy of leasing your land to trusted outdoorsmen.
Yeah. So our goal for you, the listener, was really to distill this down into practical, actionable knowledge.
Helping you navigate these responsibilities.
Exactly. These are real steps you can take to hopefully avoid legal trouble and really secure your own slice of the world, turning those potentially daunting obligations into, manageable, proactive steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe this raises an important final thought for you to consider.
Okay.
Given these clear legal risks we've talked about, and this whole range of practical solutions from paint to leases, how might shifting your perspective, viewing your property security, not just as a chore or a cost, but maybe as an active, perhaps even profitable undertaking, how might that fundamentally change your whole approach to owning and enjoying your land?
That's a great question to ponder. Thinking of security as an active investment, maybe even an opportunity.
Something to mull over.
Definitely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope these insights help you protect your land and maybe even find new ways to appreciate it.
Hope it was helpful.
Until next time, keep digging, keep learning.